So coming to what could be the possible elements of successful multi-channel marketing? Now this slide actually is from a BCG report, wherein they said the average pharma company's preparedness is not even 40%, which is, in a way, I would say, a bit depressing, because it's not as if yesterday these technologies have come into play. These technologies have been used, as I had shared with you earlier also, by other industries, by other sectors. But the silver lining is that at least the pharma has woken up to the challenge, and they are now seriously evaluating how to bring about a change in their overall marketing strategies. There are today leaders amongst the pharma companies who are building advanced marketing capabilities in terms of multi-channel marketing, in terms of your closed-loop marketing, which is your iPad detailing and stuff like that, and then digital marketing effectiveness, which could also encompass the social media engagement. But these are not so simple. There are complex challenges to implement any of these. As you can see, with respect to multi-channel marketing, it is currently, based on my own experience also, and I'm sure you will agree with me, it's a very siloed approach. It's a compartmentalized approach being taken. One brand, one channel, one activity, one campaign, and then the learnings are not being shared within the same teams even. Okay? So that's a big challenge. Sometimes it is the leadership is not giving that right kind of attention to that. It could be limited visibility across the enterprise. So all these are different challenges we all need to overcome before we have a successful MCM in place. I'm not going into details of CLM and digital marketing effectiveness, because then I would deviate from the topic given to me. In fact, today the stage is something like this. Here is the doctor, different channels are being deployed. Wherever MCM initiatives are taking place, most of them are in this kind of a stage, which is a good. Why is it good? Because earlier you did not have most of the other channels, you had only rep. Now reps are being empowered with the iPads, you had CLM platforms, then you have remote detail, but again, all of these are standalone. They are not integrated. Okay? From here, we need to move to this stage, integration of channels, and there is a segmentation-wise approach to engage with the customers. And segmentation, by the way, not only in terms of their total value in terms of ROI, if you can say, what is the potential of the doctor, or it could be segmentation in terms of their preference. There could be a Dr. A who prefers more of KOL videos. Dr. B prefers more of webinars. Dr. C prefers medical rep coming and talking to him using the iPad. Dr. D could be having other set of preferences. So are that being considered today? No. So that is something which comes into it when you do a lot of analytics and you try to refine your messaging, you try to refine your engagement strategy based on the preferences of the doctors, and a proper segmentation is done. And again, the ideal stage is this, wherein you integrate both the CLM piece, the MCM piece, the social media piece, and come with a completely integrated program, enterprise-wide. At least I'm not aware any company having reached this. People are trying to strive towards this, but it's a challenge. It could be done in one country, but saying that any company has been able to do it globally, at least I would be glad to hear from someone if they can give me an example of this one. What would be the important success factors? Again, this is a continuation to my previous slides. If you look at it, vision and leadership commitment are very, very key. If we do not have the senior leadership buy-in to any of the MCM program, it's very difficult to convince different stakeholders. And by the way, MCM programs are not plainly marketing programs. It needs a serious selling to the sales organization. It requires buy-in from the commercial. It requires buy-in from the strategic marketing, from technology. So there are different people who are involved in it. So that's why when you are executing a successful MCM program, you need to keep all these different people in the loop and making sure that you have a buy-in from all these concerned stakeholders. Another aspect I would like to highlight about this is the digital expertise. Now, you may have certain expertise in-house. It's not required that you need to develop all the expertise with respect to technology in-house. So most companies are very prudent. They take the intelligent way. They engage with third-party vendors where they see that, okay, this kind of expertise lies with this kind of agency or a vendor, and I would leverage it to my advantage. So far, when I was talking about successful MCM implementation, I had touched only upon the enterprise-wide kind of situation. But I'm sure in this audience, there would be many who would be handling a set of brands or a portfolio, or could be senior marketing managers. One is that the enterprise level changes take place. One is that what do I do in the meanwhile, in the interim period, what should I do for my brand? So I would spend next few slides talking about how a brand manager can also go about launching a successful MCM program. In fact, this is something which Indegene had conducted a few months ago with the pharma marketeers survey we had conducted in APAC, emerging markets, and Japan. And this is one of the findings that the brand managers and marketeers considered ROI to be a main concern. I have slides concerning the ROI question also. But first, coming to how, for your brand, for your portfolio, you can devise a successful MCM strategy. If you look at this, I have tried to segregate it into 4 parts. Different channels are there, tried to segregate. If you look at it, this does not require much of technology. Field reps are there, you have traditional CME and all this stuff. These are low tech and could be non-digital until and unless your reps are using tablets or iPads. If you look at this section, it is more of 1:few. Here again it is 1:few only. This is 1:few but with high tech. This is live video detailing, remote detailing as they call it in the US. So this is, you have a person sitting somewhere else and doctor can engage from his or her clinic or maybe from the drawing room of his house. This is high-tech 1:many. Again, you are transforming, you are metamorphosing the concept of traditional CME or the seminars using the technology. So online CME, it could be online seminars, webcast. So that is another aspect. And then you have low-tech 1:many, which could be your email, direct mail, e-congress, and all that. So with this slight slicing and dicing of the different channels, we go to the next aspect, what you can keep in mind when you are devising your strategy. If you look at this y-axis, we have taken the physician's sales potential. You have high sales potential, you have low sales potential people in your sales reps would be having in their list. And on the x-axis is the product life cycle. Now, if you look at it, personal interaction model, and this part is the digital, this is the personal, that is medical rep. Now, based on the product is at which stage of product life cycle, and based on the potential of your doctors, you can actually decide whether to use more of face-to-face, equal, less, and then product is completely low sales potential. That is your vacant territories. Today, a big chunk of discussion that we have with our pharma clients in the US and Europe and even in emerging markets that I have is, I cannot cover each and every doctor. I have vacant territories. I have white space doctors. What do? Are there any low-cost alternate sales channels for me to deploy rather than not being present? So this is where, this is second element you can keep in mind when you are coming out with your strategy.